Hello, Junior Achievement students. My name is Rafael Rivera, and I am the lead designer over at Primex Design Fabrication. A little bit of something about myself is I started my journey as a design engineer in high school. I was really big into art. I've always had a creative mindset, and I've also enjoyed working with my hands. So I tried to do everything I can possibly do to express my art abilities, whether it's through woodworking, through drawing, or painting, pretty much any type of medium. I've always gravitated towards computers as well. So at an early age in middle school, that was my passion. That's what I was really felt like that was something that I wanted to do. Then throughout middle school, I was preparing myself for high school. So I knew that I wanted to get into a lot of different things when I got into high school because there was a lot of opportunities available for me there than in middle school. There was some career counselors that actually took their time to listen to me and my ideas and desires to pursue an art career or some creative field. Focused on that a little bit longer, and then I knew that I wanted to enroll into an art school, so I enrolled into the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. There I honed my skills and really took the time to talk to different people in the field that I wanted to get into. So with that, I felt confident in knowing that I was in a good position to further my career as an artist, or at least somebody working in a creative field. In your path or your journey or your career, you're going to wear many hats, and you're going to be put in a lot of different situations. You're going to hold a lot of different positions. For me, example, I was a field engineer after I graduated out of Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. But in that career, I started noticing a lot of different things. Just because I was a field engineer and laying out various things from conduit to block wall masonry and control points, there was still some type of creative element in there. And what I mean by that is that I had the opportunity to look at structural drawings and basically in my mind's eye create that particular drawing into something into 3D where I can visualize the environment, where I can visualize a wall or a door opening, stairs, and what have you. So I continued that path I continued that path as a field engineer because I knew that there was other opportunities that were going to present themselves later on down that road, because networking is huge. So when you meet different people, try to learn as much as you can about them and what their passions are, because that in turn is going to really open up a lot of doors and opportunities for you later on down the road. It might be something where you might be able to give that individual a call back, or that individual may call you because they know you and they understand you and the career that you have chosen to be in. So I guess the big question that you folks are just running through your minds right now at this point in time in your lives is, how do I choose a career, right? What do I do? What are the steps that I need to take? Who do I talk to? Who do I listen to? I think that the big question is to just take a look inside within yourselves, deep within inside yourselves. What do you folks are passionate about? What are the things that you would like to see changed? For the creative folks out there, what do you see that the world needs? Or for all of you, what are you passionate about, right? I think that, if you're passionate about something, that's going to really, really help you folks out a lot in deciding what career to take. For me, I'm passionate about art. So again, I've always had that creative element. So I try to figure out how can I leave my mark on the world about something that I'm passionate about. So, I focused a lot about on-job training with myself because I didn't know a lot, right? I didn't know who to talk to. I just knew that if I was working somewhere that kind of remotely was tied into what I wanted to do, as a designer, as somebody that's creative, then that's where I went. The folks that I've spoken to recommended that, maybe I should take in some CAD courses, right? Maybe I should strengthen up a little bit more of my art skills with some graphics programs. What are the things that I needed to dial in and hone in so that I can take that next step? If I didn't possess a skill, how do I possess that skill? Who do I talk to? Who can I reach out to possess those skills? Maybe it's something where I can go online, right? Because now everything is Googleable. So you can get online, you can learn something for free. You have individuals that will talk to you for free. And that, I think, will actually, open up the doors for you. Once you get your foot inside the door, it's a lot easier for people to talk about what they do and to listen to you and to, make some suggestions and give you some ideas. But it's totally up to you about how you do that, how do you use that. I think, again, once you figure out what you're most passionate about, things will be a lot easier. When I was in middle school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. When I was in high school, I still was kind of undecided, but I knew that there was a passion in me to be creative. So if you guys can find that passion and then tap into it, I think that's going to really open up a lot of opportunities for you. So let me try to flesh this out for you. So how did I become a design engineer? Well, really wasn't a lot of school available at my time and courses that I can take on becoming a design engineer. I knew that field was out there. I knew that there were some expectations and some things that employers were looking for as a designer, as a CAD designer. Some of those skills I didn't possess, but I started from the ground up because I felt that, that was a good start for me because I only knew what I knew. So working on a production floor is where I started. Just like my previous job, working in construction, field engineer, I was out there in the trenches with everybody else. But I think that's important to know because that's where you get to see everything go down, right? If and that's not taking anything away from higher education. College is great. That's something that you folks are definitely going to need for employers to look at you. But if you don't have that hard skill set, if you don't have that getting your hands dirty and knowing where things originate and where things end up at, I think you're going to struggle a little bit. I think that it speaks volume when you have on-the-job training, OJT. We kind of lost, as a society, I think we kind of lost sight of that a little bit, and we're kind of just bringing that back in because there is a need, because we do see that. We do see that on-the-job training exposes people to things that cannot be taught in the classroom, right? We can learn about the mechanics of things, the mathematics of things, and put down solutions on paper, but in reality, if it's not put into real-world applications, that's your moment of discovery. So I think a lot of things are learned at that point. So again, circling back with me working on the production floor, I worked in a printing press room. 7-color offset litho press. It was a Harris press. It was an old dinosaur, but there was a lot of hands-on there, right? From setting the register, putting in the plates, to inking up the machine, feeding the sheets, and on the other end coming out and getting those sheets delivered and putting them away. But in there, I was seeing and I was looking at what we were printing, right? We were printing on substrate, but these substrates were getting placed and converted into boxes. There's these die lines and indicators of where these things get folded, right? So you have your paper that's printed, that paper gets put on a piece of substrate corrugate, and then it gets manufactured into a box. And so in my mind's eye, I'm trying to picture how this box goes. So I knew that being in the printing press was an excellent stepping stone for me because I can see where things begin. I know where they end, right? If you're at Walmart or you're at Costco or you're at your local grocery store, you see these items on the shelves, right? But that's the end product. So how do these products begin? They you had to start somewhere, right? Well, they started out with an idea, a creative idea, right? And then they got manufactured into something that is shoppable, that you guys, every day walk up to your shelf and take off your shelf. It could be anything from a box to a car, right? It can be the layout of a newspaper. It could be various different items, but if you don't understand the mechanics of how they got manufactured, and can't wrap around that, then that's where on-the-job training, I firmly believe comes in handy. I've learned, self-taught on CAD, learned a little bit of Excel, PowerPoint, and a couple of other graphic softwares on my own time, because I knew that those are the basic foundations that I needed in order to get where I'm at now. Learning how to 3D print, right, is a new thing for me. A lot of these things are getting 3D printed now, a lot of these items, but they have to be conceptualized. If you can't conceptualize something, you're going to struggle a little bit, right? In the design area, when you're creating something. A lot of people can conceptualize, others struggle a little bit. That's where your mentor will come in handy. That's where on-the-job training will come in handy, because once you start to really dig deep into what you want to do in your field, that's when things are going to start to happen automatically. And again, if you feel passionate about something, that's where you're going to be led to later on down the road. That's how things become a lot more easier for you to understand. That's not the knock that you want to try something new and go in a field that you know nothing about. I think that's great. So we talked about journeys. Everybody's journey is going to be different. Again, it's going to be up to you and what drives you. And then the other thing is that once you feel motivated, find that, hone in on it, grab onto it, and then really decide that, make that decision and say, this is where I want to end up in 3 years. This is where I need to be in 5 years. This is what I'm working up to be here at 10 years. And then before you know it, you're in a field where it doesn't feel like work anymore. It's something that you enjoy doing. It's something that you enjoy waking up every day and putting in a hard day's work. And then it no longer feels like work, right? That's where, again, I really think that if you just follow your heart and really, tap into your talents too, that's going to really help you out a lot. I think you're ultimately going to end up where you need to be. I didn't want to stay in a print room all my life. I just knew that was a stepping stone. I knew that I didn't want to work in construction, but that was just another stepping stone. At each stepping stone, you're going to meet different people along the way that are going to actually want to lift you up and help you take you where you ultimately want to end up at. I ended up at Primex Design Fabrication, which has allowed me to really branch out and explore and push my creativity. It's no longer in the production floor. Now I'm in the office. Some of the time is split up between the office and our clients, which is nice because there's a little bit of a break there. Even though I'm a total hands-on guy, I do spend some of the time on the production floor as well, because I like to see what I helped develop or I created, and seeing those things come to fruition. Speaking with the clients, that's a refresher as well, because what are the customer's expectations? There's a skill set that's involved in there too, because now you're speaking to a client. So those are some skills that you'll have to develop. Some speaking skills, some presentation skills that you have to develop as well. But then once you understand what the customer's expectation or the client's expectation is, you can bring that back to the office, which is what I do, and then start fleshing out some ideas and running through some concepts, and then showing them these concepts. And it really feels good when, hey, that's exactly what I'm looking for. and you were the solution to my problem, or developing something new, creating something new, creating something that wasn't on demand, creating a different product that actually solves a solution later on down the road, or maybe solving a solution that really nobody really thought about, that well, hey, it's been like this for so long, that's what's expected, this is what it is right here. But if you come up with a solution, you actually start to get people to think now, right? You never thought that there was an easier way to make a widget that helps me package it a little bit differently. There's that old saying, box of cereal. Why hasn't anybody just made a box of cereal where you open up and then you can take the bag and open it and there's a Ziploc, right? We're having to cut our bags inside of our cereal, and then try to figure out a way to reseal it. Those things that are just everyday things that we take for granted, that once you come up with a solution, that's great. It's something that maybe wasn't on demand before, but now it is. So you've made somebody else's life easier. With my time at Primex Design and Fabrication, it really has changed. Every year it changes. Every year we get pushed in a different direction, because it's a company that's always innovating, right? We always want to stay, ahead of the curve. Coming up with all of these different ideas and types and solutions really feeds my passion, because I get to explore, I get to create. There's different tools that we use here at Primex Design and Fabrication. A water jet that we can cut steel with a stream of water, all the way down to something really soft, like just a piece of foam. But these are things that have to get programmed, so we need to understand how that piece of machinery works. We have a CAD table, something similar to where it's got a knife and it cuts a piece of plastic, or scores a piece of plastic, but we have to understand how that works as well. And see, these are a couple of different tools that we have that we can use to create so many different things. Another new thing that we're coming up with now is 3D printing, right? So we have to come up with a way to understand how a 3D printer works, and then what are the applications for a 3D printer? How can we use that 3D printer? These are the new things that we're coming up with now, when we're designing parts to actually help us conceptualize something. So if we would like to package this part, but don't have the part available, but we have it in a 3D, electronic 3D world, yeah, we can conceptualize it and look at it and explore it. But what if we printed this, right? What if we printed this and put it in a box, and then we can test this out and see and prove that our creation that we made actually works. Maybe we can tweak it a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe we hit a home run. Maybe we designed it the first time right. But all of these different things are out there for us to explore. So why is my job important to me and the community? I think the best way to answer that is that my job is an organic link to the community. That means that I help create a product. Right after that, people build those products, and then you have an end user. So you have somebody using that product, right? So it provides support where it's mostly needed. Take, for instance, we did some face shields during COVID, and that played a huge role in our community. That helped the medical industry. It helped keep families, it helped keep people employed, right, so that they can take care of their families. Then we spreaded that out, Then we also shared that with the community, with other manufacturing companies. So it was a joint effort. It was something that was definitely needed within our community. It was positive, it was integral to actually, be a part of something to help other folks out, and allow other people to do what they needed to do in order to take care of our community. On a personal level, my job allows me the opportunity to give back by sharing my time and talent in my hometown where it's needed. In some way, shape, or form, you can see how our company has played an integral role within the community. Whether it's walking by and seeing an event take place, to supporting our schools. We really do a lot with what we have, because we truly do believe that we're not alone, that if we're in a position to help each other out, I think that's what we're here for. I think that sharing our talents, like again with my creative talent, allows us to do so much more, and that's what I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about being creative and helping others. If you take the time to just really look at your area, you can see that there's a need. So how do you fill those needs? Well, you can fill those needs with so many different ways, but it's up to you to really understand the need and how you can play a role. What can you bring to the table? What talents do you have that actually can make a positive impact in your community? It doesn't take a lot, and I think that once you give back, everything comes full circle. So at this point, I wanted to thank you for sharing your time with me, and all I ask in return is to, again, just take time to explore your passion, decide how it can be applied to the world, find a mentor or mentors, because it doesn't have to be one, in the field that you want to go into. Doing so is going to help you establish that career path, set those goals. You're going to take many steps forward, but I think you're going to take more steps backwards. But that drive and determination is going to pull you up from each step and make you better than the last step that you took. So really hard work and perseverance. I know you might have heard that before, but there's actually truth to that. And just know that there are folks out there that will take a shine to you, that will take an interest to you, that will take you underneath their wings and show you, because that's us as human beings. I think that's we're naturally born to do something like that. And then of course when it's your turn, pay it forward, or when it's your turn that you're in the field and you're mentoring, that you can actually share that with the individual that you're mentoring as well, because it's all about pulling each other up and being successful.